When you look at the Vatican, they have a lot of fucking Luciferian shit.
Coca-Cola says nobody's buying Coke.
Hey, Segovia, back with another one. Hope everyone out there is having a good day, y'all. We got a good one coming today. We got pyramids in Washington. We got Call of Duty ghosts exposing everything that's happened with Venezuela, plus a lot more, y'all. We're going to get into all that today. Make sure you guys watch from start to finish. Really helps the channel grow. But with that being said, let's do what we came here for. Let's get into the video. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. That's a pyramid.
Tum Tum Mountain, near Battleground, Washington, in the United States. If not pyramid, why pyramid shape? If not pyramid, why owned by the federal government? If not pyramid, why heavily restricted?
Did you know there are more pyramids in America than there are in Egypt? In fact, I would go as far to say there are more pyramids in America than anywhere else in the world. Most of them are just buried and covered up, hidden right beneath the surface. Like this one here, Tum Tum Mountain in Washington State. I mean, just look at the similarities between one of the now famously uncovered pyramids. It would look just like a hill to most of you blind observers today, too. But the perfect angles and symmetry are undeniable. Just look at the shadow it even casts. Nature does not work in such perfect straight lines and symmetry. And when you take a look at it from above on Google Earth, it becomes even that much more obvious. You can even see the base of the pyramid here. Just one of dozens of pyramids in Washington State. But look how clear it is. From any angle you can find on Google Earth, from any street view, which unfortunately, believe it or not, is kind of hard to do for the street views because it stops abruptly right about here. And there's a big private no trespassing sign and a gate here. And that's as far as you can see on street view. But here's a little more video of it from Google Earth. You can see where that street view down at the bottom just abruptly ends there at the base of the pyramid. I mean, mountain. And then you see that nice little top squared off from the pyramid. Another striking similarity to the Egyptian pyramids. But this is Tum Tum Mountain in Washington State. Check it out yourself on Google Earth and let me know what you think. Question everything, friends. Until next time.
This is AI, y'all. This isn't real. We're going to get into an email I got at the end of the video, y'all. This is for entertainment purposes only. I'm here to entertain. That's it. We'll get into it. This isn't real, though.
Just talking about being a part of the Matrix. I didn't shake out of that shit until after I got hurt. So a lot of people may look at my story and be like, man, he's the biggest what if, blah, blah, blah. You right. What if I didn't get injured? What? I would not have found myself. I still would have been a part of the fucking circus, bro.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
The Italian mafia movies, they're done.
Really?
You know? Yeah, they're done. De Niro just put Alto Nights Out. They took it out of the movie theater in 2 fucking weeks.
He put what out?
He put a movie called Alto Nights Out, where he plays 2 roles. He plays Frank Costello and somebody else, or Vito Genovese. The way he acted, he dropped some people. Okay, and I get it, but to make $2 million your first week,
That's not good.
and then like
De Niro.
$1 million after that, and then they just yanked it. I tried to go just to watch it
It's called Alto Nights.
because I heard
Have
it.
you heard of it, Jamie?
Nobody came and went. Came and fucking went.
Going into the Amazon, go hike as long as you want. You have 48 hours.
See, I think the problem with these celebrities, y'all, they go political, right? So now you already lost half your fans right there. Once you go political, you already lost half your fans, especially a De Niro, right? Half of them gone. Now half of your supporters that were diehard De Niro fans, I don't care what movie it is, I'm going to watch it. It's De Niro, right? But once you go political, those people are done with you, right? That's their problem. They went political. And now look at Hollywood. Hollywood went so woke, and now look at it. It's dead.
Back with a rock the size of your fist. You will not be able to accomplish
Yeah,
the
there's
task.
like no rocks there.
There's no rocks. It's clay. By the mouth of a stream, you may be able to find pebbles, like a couple of little quartz pebbles, but that's it. Okay, so we don't really have rocks, but there are stone tools left over in the jungle from another time. So the uncontacted tribes, this is where it gets really crazy, and this is where you need someone like JJ to explain what the hell is going on. JJ's brother found a stone axe head. There are no stones, and these people don't work with stones. So these stones, I went and did the research on this, these stones are left over from, let's say, the Incas. So maybe it was the Incas that came down into the jungle. They threw a stone axe head on the ground. Uncontacted tribes are walking around everywhere. They find the stone axe head. Interestingly enough, there are tribes that have had this happen to, where they pick up the old stone artifact and they go, the gods are giving us tools. It's just laying on the ground. It's obviously made for us, and their interpretation of it is somebody left it here for us.
Shit, what the heck? I'm out of there if I see that. You know, that's got to be fake, right? That dude has to be in on it. Because if somebody really did that, you wouldn't be laughing like, oh my God, that's so cool. You'd be freaked out if you saw that, a real person. See, stuff like this, you would act like laughing, but picking up a weight like that, defying the rules of gravity.
So I am at Target. I am going to show you some symbolism that I am finding here. It is a little ridiculous to me that they would put all these signs up everywhere. This is one of the biggest Targets I've ever been to. They have the one eye symbolism going on here. If you don't know, that is a big one of the evil satanic cults that run the show. Probably those two colors there are significant, as well as popsicles. It's probably something going on. Please let me know in the comments. I really am not sure. It is just very evil to me that they are making children pose in these evil positions and display it very proudly. It's not good. And in case you're wondering why I'm really here, it is because at this time we are working out of a situation that was caused by the same people who made that child pose like that. We are working out of it, so I do not quite have enough money yet to not shop at these horrible places.
Target's
the most
expensive.
horrifying thing in the existence of this entire matrix, whatever you want to call it, is what I am showing you, and they put it right in our faces, right in front of us. Not to mention that the overall consciousness here is very, very low. If you are high consciousness, it is very hard to survive here. I can't think. I have been wandering around for who knows how long, trying to remember what I came in here for. It is really difficult. I have to leave. I think we're gonna have to do Instacart or something, because I cannot remember. I cannot remember. And ultimately, this is the land. If you are good, if you are trying to do the right thing, this is the territory of the enemy. This really is. It's not a good place. Not at all. This is.
I mean, if you walk around, sorry, I thought the clip was over, but if you walk around, you know, any store, just driving down the street, you will see these symbolisms. You will see those swirls at a daycare center. You will see the one eye at the store. you'll see everything, y'all. If you look around, you'll see the numerology, the symbols, the pyramids. You'll see all that if you look for it.
At this point, it is so critical, it is so important to do your own personal work and start doing the right thing. Understand that we are all victims of this horrible programming that we were put under, the trauma and abuse and everything, but at the same time, that if we are divine and good, that we do have the option to make a choice to do better and do the right thing. We are not total victims, we are not.
I trained them Mexicans too that became the cartel because they were disbanded while we were still training them.
Really?
Yeah, man. I did that too, the Mexican Initiative. I had a great time with those guys. I think literally, no bullshit, I think I had like one of them drug guys without saying his name was like bringing tequila from Mexico, and we were throwing margaritas at my house.
Shit.
Yeah, as a young guy, right? Like, and then I seen his picture, like I seen a death photo in the news, and I'm like, I know this guy. That guy used to party at my house. I'm like, who is this? And they're like, you don't know who that is? I'm like, I know this guy.
Yeah.
What would you see, y'all? Like, we all hate the cartel. We all say this and that. America needs to do. Americans are the one that trained them, right? Now, it might not have been the American government, but these are all, Delta Force, Navy SEALs, Green Berets. That cartel reaches out. Hey, we'll pay you guys $100,000. Come down here, train my guys, teach them how to do this and that, teach them how to breach, teach them how to do all that. We'll pay you guys, and they go, right? Need money. At the end of the day, these soldiers ain't getting paid millions of dollars to go capture bin Laden and all that. That's why they come out and make all these books and all that, because that's where the real money's at. So, all these cartel people, all these bad people, like, we're the ones that train them, and we're the ones that create them.
The most major threat on the world stage.
Definitely Russia.
Probably not going to be able to post this, but I'm trying.
China. Stop yelling at me, but China is a good answer. Venezuela? Anybody? Everybody's cool with Venezuela? No threat? Okay. Which one of these places can claim to have the largest oil deposit on the planet? More than Saudi? More than Iran? Wow. Okay, what about things like gold? More than all the mines in Africa combined? Venezuela is arguably the single greatest resource of oil and minerals on the planet. So, why is this country in the midst of one of the greatest humanitarian crises in modern history? On the news, they'll call it a crisis. But on the world stage, they'll call it a failed state. Other examples of a failed state in recent history are Yemen, Iraq, and Syria. And if that's not bad enough news for you, well, Venezuela is also the only one of these places within 30-minute range from the U.S. of next-gen nuclear missiles. You will not hear about any of this on the news because the biggest players on the world stage do not want you to. Russia, China, can never be the most major threat until countries like Venezuela leave the door open to our very own backyard.
Did you know that everything that's happening in Caracas, Venezuela was already foretold to us? In this Call of Duty, the United States sent special forces in order to take over the dictator of Venezuela. Caracas, Venezuela to be exact. But this is where it gets crazy. Pay attention. This Call of Duty came out 12 years ago. You want to know what else happened 12 years ago? Nicolas Maduro started his presidency 12 years ago. Look at the opening scene to the final act.
To us, Rourke was a legend. A man could walk through hell.
They based the game 12 years in the past. Is that coincidence? What else is crazy is the similarities between the dictator of the Call of Duty game and Maduro. The dictator in the game is named Diego Almagro. Look at the characteristics that Diego Almagro had in the game. He would torture and imprison US-born individuals. Sounds very similar to Maduro, wouldn't you say? He has been accused of crimes against humanity, including excessive force, arbitrary detentions, torture. Not only did this Call of Duty get the exact timeline down to a T, it also got the exact location, Caracas, Venezuela. I really do hope that people start opening their eyes and realizing that they have to tell us what they do before they do it. These occultists and elites believe if they tell us beforehand what they're doing, they won't pay the price in the afterlife. It's called karmic retribution. This is their belief. Search it up. There is no such thing as coincidences.
Welcome to Turkmenistan, the country you've probably never visited
and one of the strangest countries in the world. It's often called the North Korea of Central Asia, and it's one of the most secretive countries on Earth. In its capital Ashgabat, you can find rows of white marble buildings stretching for miles. There's so many of these that they've earned themselves the Guinness World Record. The city feels almost unreal, with spotless streets, cameras everywhere, and people watching your every move. It's like stepping into a futuristic movie set. In Ashgabat, it's actually illegal to drive a car that isn't white. The cars have to be kept spotless, just like the streets, which are so clean you think no one lives here. There's hardly any traffic. You can drive minutes without seeing another vehicle. Ashgabat is filled with over-the-top landmarks such as the Independence Monument and the biggest indoor Ferris wheel in the world. It makes you wonder, what is the president trying to prove, and where does he get all this money from? You can even wander around the shopping malls and there's just hardly anyone there, and it just makes you wonder, where is everyone? What are they doing? Turkmenistan might just be the strangest place that you'll never visit. But if you do, be ready for a place where reality feels like a carefully curated illusion.
I mean, where are they getting the money for all that? It's obviously not taxpayers because there's not a lot of people there. So where are they getting? On my second channel, y'all, it's going to pop up at the end of the video. We're getting into Americans living abroad and how much better it is. So if you guys are interested in that, link down below.
Stuff about the moon. Apollo 11, when the booster took off on the moon, they were like, we think it might be hollow. It seems like actually the outer layer of the moon is more dense than lower layers, which pattern matches only to an excavation site. That's obviously known Earth. The lower you go, it's more dense, right? And so Apollo 12, they intentionally crashed the booster of the lunar vehicle onto the moon. They put seismometers there, and they said that it rang like a bell. This is all that you could look all of this stuff.
And then there's the size of the moon directly corresponding when it's in orbit with the sun, completely blocks out the sun perfectly.
It's 1/400th the size of the sun, and it's 400 times closer to the Earth than the sun. You never see the dark side, which is very weird.
It is really weird.
What if I told you there was a group of people that believed nuclear bombs were not actually real? And I'm not even joking, there is a legitimate group of people, or you'd say illegitimate group of people, who think that nukes are fake, and I'll tell you why. And it does make me wonder, but I'm sure this is perfectly explainable, okay? Okay, so Hiroshima and Nagasaki. This is a picture of neither. This is Tokyo after a firebombing campaign. They called this Operation Meeting House, and they leveled, but not fully, the city with firebombing. And burnt everything down, and it was horrible. Many people perished. I know they say it was justified. I mean, it is a shocking thing. Here's another angle of the firebombing campaign in Tokyo. Look, everything's devastated, but some buildings are still standing. Here's one more angle from a major bird's eye view of how far the devastation goes. Everything's flattened, burned, except for a few buildings. Now, here is a picture of Hiroshima. And people are wondering, well, hey, I mean, how are some of these buildings still standing? And you know what's crazy? There is a hospital that was allegedly in the drop zone of the nuclear bomb they dropped on Hiroshima, where everyone in there actually survived. Another angle, if this was a nuke, this is why people think this, if this was a nuke that flattened everything, what's going on with the leftover standing buildings? People are suggesting this perhaps does appear to seem like it looks more like a firebombing that went on. Another angle, buildings left standing, and many near the drop zone, the alleged drop zone. And also, please correct these people's thinkings, because they're wondering why it's not a nuclear fallout zone in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, because last I heard that's kind of what nukes do, right? We've all seen the movie The Hills Have Eyes. You see what happens to mutants with this radiation? And another angle, buildings left standing after nuke. This is Nagasaki. So not only that, though, that's one inkling of the reason why some people believe that, but it's also because if you look back at the footage from the 1950s and 60s of the little stick houses they made to test what a nuke would do, some people are wondering why the cameras are still standing. Other people are thinking, and they're kind of equating it to some type of Hollywood production to induce fear into the populace, and then we have a million nuclear bomb movies ever since then. But perhaps this is what some people think, that they're actually made up to keep us in a state of fear. China has 45 nukes. Iran has 100 nukes. Nuke, 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 nuke. And it's like fear, fear, fear. 1984, George Orwell. He says that we have to be in a constant state of conflict in order to keep the population under control. And do we have an element of that with the Cuban Missile Crisis and the thought and threat of nukes going off all the time? So let me know your thought about what those strange people think. Not me, certainly. I love or believe in nukes, rather. But let me know what you think about these thoughts.
My husband's grandfather is a crash scene investigator, and when I tell you that you need to look both ways when you're in an intersection, regardless of if it's green, you need to believe me, okay? That is the most dangerous thing that you can cross. I mean, the deaths that he's told us about, please, when you're going through a light, just look. Just do a quick, okay? Please, for the love of all things, if you value your life, do that.
My script.
Really, that is really the truth, y'all. Even if your light's green, just look real quick. I try to tell my girl that, and I feel like it goes in one ear and out the other, y'all. Like I try to imprint it in her face, and then when we see a red light run, I say, "See, that's why. That's why you have to look." Especially out here, a lot of red light runners out here. There's not crime out here where I'm at. There's not a lot of drugs. There's not a lot of murders, but there is a lot of deaths in car accidents. That's something that, like in Arizona, there's a shooting, there's a stabbing every single day. All day, every day on the news, shooting, stabbing here, robbery, home invasion. Not a lot of that here. Not a lot of crime where I'm at. But there is a lot of red light runners and there's a lot of deaths from car accidents out here where I'm at. And I can go out there and look at least 2 or 3 times a week that I'm driving. I see somebody running that red light, So make sure you guys look always when you're at a red light and it turns green, take a look. Even if it's green and it's been green for a while, before you get there, just take a look, y'all. It'll save your life.
They told me that I was gonna tear my ACL my rookie year, and I was actually kind of mad when I saw that. Like I read my script and it said, "Listen, you're gonna tear your ACL the last regular season game," and I was sad because that means I missed the Super Bowl and wasn't able to play in it.
My script, it was pretty long. I didn't know if I was gonna make the league because, trying to learn something like that was pretty tough.
Say my script been pretty crazy because this is my 4th year in the NFL, and I've been to 3 Super Bowls. So when I walked in of day one, they was like, this what they handed me. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take that one right there. I'm gonna take the 3 appearances in 4. I mean, my script was supposed to be making $100 million, but it didn't happen that way. So they lied to me.
The NFL is scripted. According to Arian Foster, it's scripted. And it brings me back to Super Bowl 51 when we're down 28-3. We're in the locker room and
something ain't right, man. I'm telling you.
I'm in the market for a new mattress.
When that
Dudes are like
documentary
sharks
drop,
when you walk in there.
when
Sharks.
that documentary drop, don't be surprised.
Y'all remember Tom Holland's humiliation ritual? He dressed up like a woman. He dressed up like a maid and was performing Rihanna's Umbrella song. While it was very funny for a lot of people, this was his humiliation ritual. Y'all think you get to be Spider-Man, the best Spider-Man we've ever seen, without some type of sacrifice? Satan always comes to collect, okay? That's just how it is in Hollywood. And typically he collects by having them do some type of humiliation ritual. For men, most of the time, it's something very feminine, or something very emasculating, something to take away from their masculinity. Now, I don't have nothing against Tom Holland, but what's on the wall is on the wall. You can look around and you can see with every celebrity that when they don't comply, guess what? The contract runs out, they either get, or you never see them in anything else again. So they have to pay up. Don't think it's all fun and games when people get that high up in the world and get that famous and get all that money. It always comes with some type of consequence or ritual. In the end, you always have to pay Satan back. I know a lot of you are going to be like, oh no, you're reaching. It was funny. It was this, it was that. I want you to look around. I also want you to look around the industry and see how many men have came out and said that they want the men to wear dresses and dress up like women and be very feminine and all these for a humiliation ritual. Go and do your own research for yourself. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because I just saw it again recently on Facebook, and I'm just like, dude, that was his humiliation ritual. That's the reason why, eventually he had to come up and pay. He's the biggest Spider-Man in the world, guys.
What is the
Not only the biggest Spider-Man in the world, but he's come out on interviews saying how he hates Hollywood. He doesn't like the vibe in Hollywood. He doesn't like the darkness in Hollywood. Like kind of exposing it, but not exposing it. Kind of telling people like, if this is your dream, don't come here. And that's what they did to him. They said, okay, you're going to embarrass us. We're going to embarrass you. And he did it. He did it, y'all. He did it. He could have walked away. I don't know what would have happened if he walked away, if he stood on his principle, because he already doesn't like Hollywood. But they must have something over his head if you don't do it.
The Masons. We see all the symbols, the pyramids, the one eye. As a matter of fact, I mean, the last time I was in Washington, D.C., I just was looking at Google Earth, trying to find a place to eat, and I noticed all the roads line up into like pyramids, triangles.
13 of our founders were Freemasons. It's a fraternal organization. It's for men. Started Scotland, London, 1700 time period, and they have their own rituals and processes they work through. The movie about the Cristero War in Mexico, they were behind that. You'll see Jay-Z and famous rappers or Prince Hall Freemasonry. But again, think of that, against cross and crown. It's against the church and it's against right order.
How do you get higher up?
You progress through, and then they reveal the great architect of the universe, which from inside reports, the great architect of the universe is Lucifer.
On October 18th, 2025, a UFC Fight Night match between Brendan Allen and Ryanair de Ritter in Vancouver went viral across the internet. But not because of the fight itself. Instead, the moment that caught everyone's attention happened during Brendan's walkout. A small handful of people noticed that as he was making his way to the octagon, a fan flashed his phone to the camera for a split second, showing what looked like a very disturbing image. What a lot of people thought was the picture of a lifeless body lying on the ground. What made this already creepy incident even more disturbing was when the camera moved a bit further and showed the person who was holding the phone. He was wearing a luchador-inspired wrestling mask, likely to hide his identity, all while looking directly at the camera with an unsettling, almost psychotic smile on his face. Which begs the question, what was this picture, and why did he show it on live TV to an audience of millions? Reverse image searching the picture on the phone doesn't bring up any similar results, and no one has been able to link it to some movie or TV show either. In other words, the person holding the phone likely took the picture themselves, and judging from what it looks like, the most disturbing
Coca-Cola says nobody's buying Coke. And if they're not buying Coke, they're not buying the rest of their product line. How much of this is because they got soda removed from EBT? I don't know, but he says people have turned away and they're not sure what direction to go in or what to do because their main brand, Coke, keeps going down. They keep doing sales and people are not buying. They've also raised the price of soda astronomically the last couple of years. And it makes sense. People want to be healthier. People don't want to splurge. Maybe it's people don't have the ability with EBT. But soda's taking a beating and doesn't look in their eyes, in their explanation, like they know how to dig out of this hole on their own.
I find it suspicious that when we sing a happy birthday to kids, they don't like it. And then everybody like, oh, okay, it's the attention that the kids don't like. No, it's that song. I don't know, something, if the kids don't like it, it's something.
It is, y'all. It really is, because there's certain, they know, right? They know their brain hasn't put up as much barriers that we have when we get older, right? Where we don't pay attention to things no more, right? At that age, their mind's open, y'all. Like people say they can see, people that we don't see, like they see things, right? But I notice when we're watching, something and it's a deep part of the cartoon, like where they're talking life, like talking something deep about life, my son is like focused on it, like focused. And I always say like he's deep. He's like me, right? I love those parts of the movies, right? When they talk life and they talk deep. But I notice like when they're just singing a song, he's there, he's over here, he's there, he's over here. But when they're saying something deep about life, he's hyper focused on it. So they know these things, they feel it.
I just found out some crazy weird shit. So do you guys remember back in elementary school when we had to dress up for picture day and like look all cute and wear our little bow ties and shit? And they always hired like a third-party company to take pictures of us all and send them to our parents and stuff. Okay, so do we know
where the funding from that comes from, and do we know where the money goes from that? Well, let me tell you, BlackRock. Look it up. It's crazy.
The President Claudia and Canelo soap opera continues. He opened a taco shop in Mexico. Her husband showed up. Lines out the door. Walked right by, went to the front and said, I want to be served. Canelo happened to be there. Told him, there's no kings in Mexico. You have to wait in line like everybody else. The man got mad, smirked, left. Within hours, Canelo's taco shop was shut down. They pulled his permits. She went on air and said they disrespected the first man of Mexico. The first caballero is what she calls him. Canelo then had to pay to get his taco shop permits back $100,000. There's no corruption in Mexico. And was also told by the federal worker, stay in line or you couldn't get shut down again. Mexico, the citizens are rallying behind Canelo and calling her out for the corruption. And I just wanted to share with you. Yeah. These were made yesterday. Meaty, juicy, lovely.
Tamales. Had my fair share of those this year.
Award winning.
I just learned something messed up about birds, and now you have to know it too. Birds don't breathe in and out the same way we do. Yeah, that's right. They breathe in one long breath, filling their lungs, which then fills, don't listen to me, fills their hollow bones with air and a system of air sacs inside their body inflate like an organic balloon. And then you think, well, then, of course they then breathe out, right? No. They fart out the old air out the back like little blimps. This whole time, this has been true. And penguins use it to control their buoyancy, and dinosaurs use these gigantic air sacs to offset their massive weight.
How do you know?
And birds are just flying around like little living balloons. Did you guys know this and you didn't tell me? Is that what this is?
He takes nudes of all these girls who come upstairs when they're just completely wasted, probably don't even know what they're doing. He puts like their full name in the caption. It's horrifying to think that that would just go to like a library. That's what he wanted to do with his extensive scrapbook collection. And that's not where they are now. They're like locked away in a salt mine somewhere. But if they were to be put anywhere publicly or like scanned and put online or put in a library, I absolutely would sue. Not just because of me, but because of every other girl who doesn't even know she's in there.
Like, where was this energy when you were on Hollywood Boulevard, on TV, on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, on all these movies, on all these music videos? Where was that energy? You were okay with it. You were happy. You were okay because you were in the limelight. You were getting money. Now that you're not, you want to come out and expose it, right? Like, it's so annoying that people don't have this energy when it's happening. They wait till 30 years later and they mature or whatever in their mind and they realize, like, why didn't you have this energy at that time? You would have got your ass kicked to the curb. That would have happened, and then you would have been a nobody, right? But when the machine's done, you're allowed to. It's just so annoying, y'all. Like, whether it was right or wrong, I'm not saying it was right that he did that, but I'm saying, why didn't you come out and say this in the early 2000s when you were hanging out with all these celebrities, when you were in the circle, and now that you're out of the circle, you want to start exposing because you're not allowed back in. So now you're going to start snitching. Where if you would have snitched back then, maybe you would have had some credibility, you know?
You see a lot more foreigners in the sport. Why are there more foreigners in the sport? America's and like, no, because they can afford it. They sign these Brazilians, these daggies with want to call them, they go home with their 20K and they're living life good. How do you live on 20K and
pay your manager and pay your trainers and pay your gym fees?
Taking our jobs. Like, dude, it's easier to import them, man. It's easier to import fighters, and they go back home to Dagestan, Brazil, and they live on their, let's just say they make money, they're happy. If there was NFL money in the UFC, we would dominate the UFC. There would not be one foreign champion.
See, that's one dude that's exposing the game. Why there's all these foreigners in the UFC while he's doing his thing, right? He's not waiting 30 years down the road to expose it. He's exposing it now. This is why they have these Habibs and all them in there, right? This is why. Because they pay him pennies on the dollar and they go to their poor country and they're rich. But you do that to an American, we're not going to do it. But if you pay NFL money to America, we're going to dominate the sport. Right? That's what I'm saying, y'all. Why ain't that Madison girl exposing the game 20 years ago? Why is she coming out now? Where this guy's exposing it now? You know, it's more respectable when you're doing it now while you're still in the business, exposing the business you work for. That's what I'm talking about.
One thing that I would tell my kids growing up, and that is, if a product doesn't tell you the problem that they're trying to solve, you need to be terrified. Terrified.
Give me an example.
Facebook, Instagram. Even more than that, look at the VR goggles that all these companies have right now. Where do they tell you the problem they're solving? You look at Amazon, there's like, we're going to get shit to you faster. We're going to get it to your house. We're going to get it overnight. Returns are really easy. You want that shirt? I'll have it to you tomorrow. All of the problems are very clear and delineated of what they're solving.
Yeah.
You go look at Apple Vision Pro. You go look at this Facebook goggles and try to find where they tell you what problem they're solving. They don't, because it's loneliness.
Wow.
Now let's go back to the mafia. The mafia no longer has the power it once had, but it still has power. First of all, in my opinion, the Italian mafia in the United States is a para-governmental organization. Who did America go to during World War II to help them invade Sicily under Mussolini? Who did America go to during World War II to help them protect the ships on New York City's harbor from enemy penetration? Lucky Luciano, the founder of the commission. Lucky Luciano got out of jail early by working with the U.S. government. Who did the government go to flood the black community with cheap dope in the late 60s and early 70s to destabilize the Black Panther Party and the Black Liberation Movement? The mafia. You understand me?
Yeah.
So who did the government go to and try to hire them to execute Dr. King? The mob. So the government and the mob have always had a relationship.
Okay, here we go again. I am here because your mother, your sister, your brother, your cousin, your auntie, and all of everybody else in between, they're not going to tell you this, but I am. I'm here to let y'all know that the flooding that's taking place on the West Coast is nothing but the ice being melted from the dragons. That big ass dragon was frozen, and the ice is melting because of, you guessed it, the sun. The sun is melting the ice. They've always known that it was going to happen. And the tail of the dragon is by Alaska. Anchorage. It's anchored in Alaska. Okay? And it's thawing, hence all the water rushing in on the West Coast. If you look at the map, you can also see that on the East Coast is green, starting from like the Midwest on that Mississippi River, going east, and those states west of the Mississippi River that's attached to the Mississippi River. Okay. Anyways, that's a different story. If you look at the map on the West Coast, it's like gravel, desert, all of that. That's the dragon. You're living on top of dragons. That's nothing new. That's nothing new. What's that dragon fully built and get to start moving? Just use your imagination. Use your imagination. That's what it is. That's what's coming, and that's what they're running from. That's what they're trying to. My phone said stop. They said stop snitching. That's what they're trying to go underground from. That's what everybody. That's what everybody is leaving America because because of that dragon, that big ass dragon. The head is in Florida, the tail is in Anchorage. And the West Coast is a part of the body of that dragon. Look at the maps. The maps will tell you. Open your eyes and you will see. All right, that's it. Know that.
So what are you thinking for tonight? Should we make plans with everybody?
Simon has his exhibit for his show, A Human. So I told Simon I would go to that. It closes at 9 and this weekend's the last weekend.
Okay, fun. So you have your stuff planned. I guess Mace, we'll go out to dinner, and then late night at the house, we're having a pizza party.
And then I'm going to meet you guys for the pizza party.
Ooh, the pizza party is really what it's all about. My family. Fuck my. Listen, man. Listen. Family decided to keep you down, right? Listen, let me tell you something, right? My family won't understand. They won't love me unless I stay the same person they always seen. The moment I change, they tell me it ain't right, right? Listen, let me tell you this. People will support you when you bad, when something is wrong. That's what I mean, right? Let me go home. I lost my job. Oh, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. Let me go to jail. Oh, we're gonna take care of you. But let me start winning. That nigga think he better than everybody, right? Yeah. Fuck that nigga. He think he too good, right? Yeah. But they gonna support you when you down. But at your high, they won't support you. Come on, gang. And that's what family do.
Yeah. One of my favorite.
It is really true, y'all. It is really true. Unfortunately, especially when you move out of your own home state, and it changes, y'all. It changes. Unfortunately, I'm not going to go too deep into it because sometimes my family watches these videos. So, but you know, things change, y'all. I mean, there's that famous meme out there where, you can post on your social media, I got a new job, and you're going to get 100 likes. And you can post on that same social media, I started a new business, you're going to get like 1 or 2 likes. And unfortunately, that's how it is, y'all. Unfortunately. Now, there are those ones that support you no matter what, but the majority is different, y'all. They see you as that person you were back then, and they always see you as that no matter what. So you got to get away from that so you can grow, or else you're just going to stay stuck in that circle. I could go deep on that
being around
one,
when people find out that pirates actually exist. Like, they're not like these fake things that are only in like fairy tales to scare us. Like, there are actual pirates that actually exist and still do right now. They're still pirating right now. So the shock on people's faces, like, yeah, it's not like a dragon, you know what I'm saying? Which is probably also real. Like, I'm just,
We shouldn't pay taxes.
No, we shouldn't.
The fuck are we getting for it? Okay. And here's the thing about not paying taxes that people don't realize. It takes the IRS 3 years to actually catch you anyway. And by the time 3 years are done, they don't have the money. We'll have a new fucking government. Here's strategically what they would do, because they will have repercussions then. So what they'll do is they'll fucking print $10 trillion of new currency and break the financial backs of the Americans. So for the tax strike to actually work, there has to be an agreed upon new currency system that would allow that to fucking happen.
Do Americans actually not know that Toyota sells $10,000 trucks in every part of the world except the United States? China sells $8,000 brand new BYD vehicles that drive themselves. Free market capitalism?
You need to hear what this DoorDash worker exposed. He was under an NDA and he broke it and put all of this online. He's a back-end engineer for DoorDash, and he's basically exposing how they treat people like they are resource nodes in a video game, not fathers and mothers trying to pay rent. First off, the priority delivery fee that you see that you can pay is just a psychological value add. It's a full-on scam. He says it changes just a Boolean flag in the code, but the dispatch logic literally ignores it. It does nothing to speed it up. He says they actually delayed non-priority orders by 10 minutes just to make the real priority ones feel faster by comparison. So literally delaying your order just to make the $2.99 delivery priority fee more valuable. He says they generated millions by making the standard service worse, not by making the premium service better. And the reason he's quitting his job is the desperation score. So they have a hidden metric that tracks the driver's desperate nature. So how desperate they are for cash based on their acceptance of certain jobs. So if a driver logs on at 10 p.m. and accepts every garbage $3 order instantly without hesitation, the algorithm inside the app tags them as high desperation. Now, once they are tagged,
So
they
annoying,
stop
yeah.
getting shown the high-paying orders. And the logic is, why pay this guy $15 for a run when we know he's desperate to do it for $6? And they save the good tips for the casual drivers to hook them in and gamify their experience. He says a lot of the fees that you see at the end go straight to the corporation. They do not help the drivers at all.
Heck no.
Pretty messed up. And I bet all the other delivery apps are doing similar things.
Well,
like it's so annoying, y'all. I used to do all these delivery things, and it started off good, like he said. It did start good, right? I used to get $10-15 orders. Before you even drop off the order, you got a new $10 or $15 order, like making $60-70 an hour, y'all, banging them out, especially on DoorDash and Uber Eats, because it's quick. But at a certain point, it's like tips stop coming in, $3 orders start coming in, long drives start coming in, and all these fees. They used to back when it was getting, like I said, $70-60 an hour. They used to have the customer tip after they received their order and all that. That's when they would tip, right? So you'd get a notification like when you rate your driver, when you order something, like, I don't know, 20-30 minutes later, you get a notification and then you leave a tip, right? But now you do all that before you even check out. So think about it. When would you leave a better tip? We're going to go on a little rant here. When would you leave a better tip? Would you leave a better tip at the end when you don't see all these little fees? And then you see like the rating, you just ate, you feel good, I'll throw in $5-10. But when you leave a tip in the beginning and you see store fee, driver fee, whatever, a fee for this, a delivery fee, you see all these little fees and it adds up. So you want that total to be the least amount as possible. So you're going to leave the least amount of tip. And it tells you too, do you want to leave 5%, 10%, 20%? You're always going to click that least one. But if you wait till the end, like it used to be, and tip after you had your food, you already paid that, you forgot about that, and then you leave a tip, but they play these little games, and then they steal tips. I feel like they steal tips, right? Anybody out there that's doing DoorDash, I would highly suggest you do cash, because I think DoorDash, all these Uber Eats, Spark, Instacart, they steal tips, y'all. One day you'll get $80 in tips. The next day they're doing a promotion. If you deliver 5 orders in 2 hours, you get a $30 bonus. On those days, magically you get no tips. Magically. The day before you got $80 in tips. The next day you get $10 in tips. They're stealing tips, y'all. So give them cash and then leave in the memo, I tip in cash. Guarantee you'll get good orders, y'all. People will give you good customer service.
Paris. This is the Paris they don't show you on TV.
No, you can't tell me this is Paris. This is Lomé or Cote d'Ivoire, some place in Africa, bro.
That's Paris? Oh, I can tell by the words.
Feels like I'm in Nigeria or Africa. What the fuck is this? You don't like Paris, bro? No, bro. This is a real Paris. No.
Wow.
Proof that.
See, we're going to get into that on the second channel too, y'all, about how Western civilization is. Because they tell us how the other civilizations are. They're poor, they're this, they're that, they're crime ridden. Don't go outside when you go there, like stay in your hotels. But we're going to show the truth to people that are outside of the Western civilization, how terrible it is. LA, Chicago, Paris, the UK, all these places, y'all, where it's crime ridden. And anybody out there, because we have a lot of people from UK, from Australia, from all these places in Western civilization. I know you guys got some TikToks about homelessness and the drug problem and all that. Send them to my email. Links down below. That'll be for the second channel, y'all. Please send me on my email.
What is evil part infinity. I came across this interview with Mel Gibson sometime in the 90s. He's talking about an experience he had with Christopher Walken, who is an A-list Hollywood actor. You won't believe this.
Good meeting. No, he came to see me on a rooftop in New York. I said, "Hey, can I talk to you?" And he said, "Sure." He floated in sideways through a crowd of people. He was wearing black. And it was like one of those old vampire movies where they don't walk, but they glide. And he was a dancer, so he has he's very, graceful. Yeah. And he moved sideways, and he just sat down in a chair next to me. And it kind of frightened me.
Yeah.
And he's a very smart guy. And we started talking, and I didn't, say much of anything about reading the script, nothing. I just started talking about the Middle Ages. and he began to talk tortures. And we swapped tortures because I read this book on torture, and I tried to recall some of the most heinous things I'd ever read in this book, and he was like, oh, and he'd try and top it, and it got, and my assistant was there, and he left because he couldn't stand it anymore. Yeah. The air had turned cold, and then he left, and I wanted to leave, and because I knew that I didn't want to work with him, and he was getting scary. Yeah. And then I turned around and it was on top of the Peninsula Hotel. I turned around to avoid his steady gaze at one point, and I was looking at a building with the top of the sixes on it. So there was a huge illuminated 666 in red. And I went from that to that to that, and he started smiling.
Now, the biggest thing I took away from that clip is it doesn't seem like this man is lying here. It seems like he's telling a story exactly how he remembers it. People for a very long time have hypothesized if that interview itself was his way of exposing the darkness within Hollywood and the entertainment industry without fully exposing it. Mind you, this is the same man that years after that interview we just watched would go on to make this movie. Hypothetically speaking, I don't think Hollywood wanted this movie to come out or wanted anybody to see it, to be quite frank with you. But was Mel Gibson trying to expose the entertainment industry in that interview? Comment below, let me know your thoughts. Am I on to something or am I tripping? Wake up.
About Alzheimer's, did you remember when I said that there's only one disease? If the mucus is in the blood, it's leukemia. If the mucus is in the joints, it's arthritis. Now where is the mucus in the case of Alzheimer's? In the brain. The head is beginning to become obstructed with mucus. So as the mucus invades the brain, it prevents the brain from receiving what? Oxygen. So Alzheimer's, I have to give you a compound that has iodized and bromides. And what is that going to do? Break down the calcification of the brain.
After reading this comment, I definitely had to do some research, and I found out this one's actually true. Pop-Tarts and a long list of other foods and drinks use an additive called propylene glycol, which is also the active ingredient inside of engine coolants, various paints and varnishes and enamels. But according to the FDA, as long as you don't eat too much of it, it's okay. My question is, if you eat a lot of food that has it in it and you don't know that it's in it and you just keep eating it, it could add up pretty quickly, don't you think? Various ice creams within the Blue Bunny brand also have propylene glycol in their stuff. Alright, this one's actually sad too because I love Cold Stone. But they have 17 different varieties at all their locations that have propylene glycol in them. More shots fired with Dunkin' coming in with their flavored iced teas having propylene glycol. But don't worry, you can still get their regular iced teas that don't have it. I've seen a couple of you guys say that Fireball is also banned in certain countries because of the propylene glycol, aka antifreeze, but yep, another one on the list. Why, Betty? Like, seriously, we can't even have cake either? Yep, just another one, and Duncan Hines as well. This list is actually longer than my first videos, just about banned foods in other countries, so if you want to see more of this one, definitely let me know.
What percentage are you at in terms of believing that we are currently living in a simulation?
Very close to certainty.
And what does that mean for the nature of your life? If you're close to 100% certain that we are currently living in a simulation, does that change anything in your life?
So all the things you care about are still the same. Pain still hurts. Love still love, right? Like those things are not different, so it doesn't matter. They're still important. That's what matters. The little 1% different is that I care about what's outside the simulation. I want to learn about it. I write papers about it. So that's the only impact.
And what do you think is outside of the simulation?
Does anybody remember when you could just hit your boy up and be like, yo, what are you doing right now? And y'all know what that meant. That meant, you trying to hoop? And they'd be like, yo, I'll see you in like 5 minutes. And it was legit 5 minutes because you guys lived in the same area and you just walked down to the basketball court. And y'all play for hours. I mean, hours. You just lost track of time. More and more people kept showing up. You didn't want to leave because the competition was right. Y'all remember that? That feeling that you had? That where nothing else mattered but the ball in your hand?
You know what destroyed the milk industry was fake butter. Here's an interesting thing. Growing up, we always had country crock. We lived on a farm and our mother and grandmother fed us fake butter. It wasn't until our 20s when we got out of the house and I was like, why am I eating plastic? We went to butter and all these fake milks, and it goes through a fad and everybody's, it's safe or it's better for you because it doesn't have this fat or that thing. And they always seems like given enough time, it goes back to the natural product is better.
And a demonic spirit that was shapeshifted like a door came out. Look at that. This man who's doing the video didn't even realize it. Look at this demonic spirit. Look at it. Woof. Oh my goodness. Let's play it again. Play it again. Pay attention. Woof. Oh my goodness. Now we're going to try to break this down. This, my friends, is a door, but it's connected to what's not a door. It's a spirit shape-shifting into something to look similar. Also, over here on the left side is a face. If you truly try to pay attention and look close, you will see it. That's not a door, it's just connected to it and blending in with it. And over there is not part of the wall, it's a face. Now let's play it again. Look at this. Woof. All disappeared. Play it again. Play it again. Woof. Oh my Lord. You atheists believing yet? Let's slow motion the clip. Watch the door collapse. There it is. There it is. Follow it. There it is. My Lord. My Lord.
I remember I was talking to somebody one time and she was telling me that, you know, she was at her friend's house and they were doing like, they had somebody come in and cleanse the house, doing something like that, right? The house had a bad energy. She said it was too much. I had to get out the house. So she went out the house and climbed up on a little hill and, you know, she was just watching from out there. And she said she saw like a black figure come out of the house and walk out. And then she went back and said, it's gone. And sure enough, she's 100% certain. I saw it. I'm not crazy. I didn't think, like, I was sitting on the hill and I watched this figure walk out. And then she said, I just went back and told him it's gone. That's crazy.
Again, they have a lot of fucking Luciferian shit.
Look at the resurrection. Look at the sculpture of the resurrection. And you tell me if that's Jesus. Look up this isn't the Vatican Cathedral. Does not look like Jesus. This is their main church. That's supposed to be Jesus right there. It looks like a Slayer album cover.
So what if there's a secret lizard people Starbucks underneath Los Angeles? Maybe beneath the palm trees is a secret subway system designed not for commuters, but for A-list celebrities. And maybe those A-list celebrities aren't just dodging the paparazzi, but maybe they can let their true forms be exposed down there. You know, that human skin suit's probably going to get stuffy every once in a while, so you kind of want to let your real self out. And by real, I mean something that kind of looks like that TV show V. But there is rumors that these tunnels stretch from Beverly Hills mansions to studio backlots, letting the rich and famous slither, let's say, around like high-budget mole people. Some folks even swear these tunnels connect to old Prohibition-era smuggling routes, meaning celebrities are basically using the same paths bootleggers once did. Just this time around with better lighting and maybe heat lamps, because, you know, lizards. And, you know, honestly, it kind of makes sense to me. If I were a cold-blooded shapeshifter trying to maintain a flawless PR image, I'd also want a climate-controlled underground hallway to Molten. I mean, you know, this is Los Angeles anyways. If there's any city where an underground labyrinth for celebrities could exist, it's the one where half the population already acts like they live in a different dimension anyway.
Just came across something super crazy, folks. They say Parkinson's is because of this thing called paraquat and diquat. So let me break this down for y'all real quick. A lot of motherfuckers is getting Parkinson's. They just sued the company that made paraquat. Paraquat is an herbicide, and they spray it on oats. They spray it on almonds, walnuts, and a lot of conventional crops, right? And paraquat just got sued for hella bread, folks, because the farmers that were working on it got Parkinson's because of this herbicide. What happens is the herbicide latches onto lectins, and the lectins travel up your vagus nerve and get into the movement center of your brain, called the substantia nigra, and it causes Parkinson's. And so when people say like glyphosate free and don't do glyphosates and glyphosates are bad, I talk about glyphosates all the time. Glyphosates are here, paraquat is like here. It's like 30 times worse than glyphosate. Super bad. And now people can say these oats are glyphosate free because they spray paraquat on them. Paraquat is on golf courses, and people who live like 2 miles within a golf course have an increased risk of Parkinson's by like 150%. It's wild style. But then what they do, they ban the paraquat from the golf courses, but they let it put it on your food. Oh my God. I wonder who's on the golf courses that made sure that shit was banned. I don't know. know. But paraquat is banned everywhere except the US. But they changed the name from paraquat to diquat now. They were like, glyphosate's bad, so we're going to do paraquat. Then they said paraquat's bad. We're just diquat. All the scientists that are working on the EPA that are supposed to filter all the bullshit out just got fired by our new peoples up in there. So you're going to have to do your due diligence. That would be making sure all of the oats and the wheats and the cereals and the damn almonds and walnuts that you're getting gotta be organic. There is just no other.
I don't even think that's enough.
Paraquat and diquat also fuck up your gut lining and make it super permeable. We don't want leaky gut, and it destroys your gut microbiome. So no paraquat, no diquat, no glyphosates, but you have to also like wash your crops. So I would soak all of my produce in very cold water and add apple cider vinegar or baking soda to ensure that you get whatever pesticides and herbicides you can off of that shit. And that you don't have to soak it for that long, literally like 1 or 2 minutes, but squish it around, make sure all that shit is gone, rinse it off, and then you should be better to go. But you got to go organic. I know it's more pricey, but you got to do it, or else you're sacrificing your health, and that's going to be more costly at the back end, right? You might say, well, organic food costs $1-2 more, but then you don't want to have to get surgeries and have medical fucking bills. That's going to cost thousands of dollars type shit.
Everything down, but chicken ain't running out and beef ain't running out. You ain't figured this shit out yet. A damn cow has a child, what? They have one calf a year? But yet McDonald's can't seem to run out of motherfucking burgers? And we talked about this last night. You didn't figure the shit out. They ain't had no real meat in this country and real food in this country probably in damn 15 years. All that shit is cloned and manufactured. All that shit on the shelves is cloned and manufactured. They came out with 8 cloned cows in June. And they said, what you gonna do with these? They said, we ain't gonna kill these. These are prototypes. We gonna take these and make food for the supermarket. That's because all that shit, come on, let's think about it now. Every country in the world is in famine, but we can't seem to run out of no damn food. The supermarkets is full. And you ain't figured this shit out yet. We got endless supply of food. Hell, in 1983, McDonald's was saying over 1 billion served. And since 1983, they done had about 800 new franchise of chicken places done sprung up. And you ain't figured this shit out yet. The earth can't produce that much food.
Do you guys remember that girl who was building a tunnel underneath her home and then she ended up getting shut down because she didn't have any of the permits? Like, she was doing all of this by herself, but she got shut down because she got too big. She was posting all of it on TikTok, and so people found out and they were like, you can't build a mine underneath your home. So they shut it down. Well, she showed back up on my For You page today. She's starting her castle now. So she was mining under her home to create a shelter, but then she was also using the rocks that she excavated out to build a castle. But she hadn't started that yet because she was focusing on the mine. Well, since she got like a cease and desist or whatever for the mine, now she's building her castle. And so in this video, she's like, well, time to start building. And she starts building it, and she realizes she doesn't have enough rock that like she herself personally excavated. So she's on the way to pick her friend up from the airport. And as she's driving back, she drives by a construction site and just pulls up and is like, hey, can I have some of your rocks? And they're like, yeah, okay. So she loads all of those rocks into the back of her vehicle, and now she's building a castle. So yeah.
Oh, you son of a bitch. So listen to this one now. The mainstream narrative says that these cowboys from England traveled to America, relieved the natives from their hooks, and by the year 1890, they was building houses like this. And now you're trying to tell me that by the year 1925, they was making buildings like this? It's only 45 years later, brother. So basically, by the time his son is his age, he's making buildings like this. Who teaches them the knowledge in 40 years' time to build these structures? His dad? Look how these men are living. Raggedy and rough. No clean clothes. No one's having a wash. No power tools. He don't even look like he's got the hammer and chisel. And then, all of a sudden, there you go. Buildings that stand the test of time. I don't think they thought this one through. Are you trying to tell me that the people that built this building are these, man? So cowboys, criminals, and soldiers, by the time they're kids of their age, they're building temples, courthouses, and castles with just a hammer and a chisel.
All right, family. There you have today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you made it this far, make sure you guys leave a like, comment, subscribe. Now, I'm not going to get into that email. I was going to, y'all, but just know these videos here, they're just to entertain you guys. I'm not saying I believe in everything. Like, sometimes I'll post an AI video on here, like yesterday's video, the moon landing one with Kubiak or whatever his name is, filming it, right? I wasn't putting that on there to mislead you guys. I put that on there to like show how far. I didn't think I had to state the obvious. This isn't real. This isn't real. Like, I'm not trying to mislead people. You know what I mean? And then throwing my kids and my mental illness. It's crazy, y'all. That's the downfall of sharing too much on social media is, you know, the ones they try to point that at you and pick that at you like you're misleading your kid. And it's just a crazy thing, y'all. Crazy thing. But anyways, just remember, these videos are for entertainment purposes only. Don't believe everything you see in these, right? Use your brain. Use your brain, people. It's common sense. I got a PhD in common sense. So I just feel like I don't have to state the obvious, but I guess I have to start stating the obvious. But anyways, y'all, I'm going to get going. I got to record my second video. That's going to be, I'm going to start posting my second channel over here, the videos, right? But I'm not going to post today's video. I'm going to post yesterday's video, which was how crappy modern day cars are. That's going to pop up over here. But today, right now, I'm going to get into Americans living abroad and comparing, you know, apples to oranges, living in China, living in Thailand, living in different places, right? So that's what's going to pop up. But right over here, it's going to pop up. Playlist over here if you're not interested. Don't go over there with the mindset of conspiracies over there, y'all. It's a different side of me over there, all right? Keep an open mind for me. I don't stay in one box. I'm a big thinker. I'm going to get out of here, y'all. This is Segovia signing out of the Man Cave. I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.